Welcome back to Living the Dream, where we're studying the life of Joseph. We have been with him through the highs and the lows, and Genesis 42 is no longer about the dream, but about forgiving those who wanted to kill that dream. Join us today as we go deeper into the life of Joseph, living the dream. Welcome back, everyone. It's great to have you here once again in this series called Living the Dream. And we're going to dive right into the Bible in a minute. But I definitely wanted to give you guys a big welcome here. My name is Alex, if you didn't know that. And I like to make these Bible passages because it's really great to dive into the Bible. For me, I get to study a little bit more. There's so many stories in the Bible that are great that we're able to know more. And even if you read it before, just reading it one more time or hearing another explanation gives you a deeper understanding of the Bible and the things that are great that we can apply in our lives. And like I say to all the time to people, I say, listen, if this is a blessing to you, I'm sure that it's going to be a blessing to you, to someone else, and consider sharing it. I've gotten a lot of messages of people who love these videos and are saying, make a series on this topic or that topic. So if you have a topic in mind that you would like, let us know what topic you would want us to touch on. Now, we are right in the middle of the life of Joseph, and that's what this topic is right here, right now. We went back from the beginning. We started where Joseph is in his house, his parents' house, and he has the dreams. He's sold by his brothers into slavery. He's sent to Egypt. He becomes Potiphar's second in command, but then he's thrown in jail. And then he lives in jail for a long time, waiting for the dream. Dreams come, but he's interpreting other people's dreams. They finally remember him, and he becomes the second in command for Pharaoh, for all the land there. He becomes the one that everybody goes to. And that is where we pick up today. We're going to be talking about Genesis 42. It's an amazing passage. I know we always talk about the beginning life of Joseph, but his whole life is very interesting. And today we're going to continue talking about living the dream. He was already living the dream. Imagine being broke, not having anything. Not worse than that, you're in jail. And now you're the second in command of all the land. And what Pharaoh told him before, he said, listen, you know what, Joseph? You're going to be in command of everything. I'm just going to be here for ceremonial reasons, kind of. So actually, Joseph was the one that was really in command of everything, except for the throne of Pharaoh. Joseph did everything, and that's where we pick up today in Genesis 42. If you could join us now, and if not, just hear it out. I know a lot of people just hear these Bible passages, and that's great as well. All right, so we're going to pick up in chapter Genesis 42, and it says, when Jacob saw that there was grain in Egypt, remember there was a famine in all the land, Jacob said to his sons, why do you look at one another? Because they're saying, what's going on with the food here? We have no food. And he said, indeed, I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down to that place and buy us there, that we may live and not die. So Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain in Egypt. Now, remember, Joseph was one of the 12, but they did not take Benjamin. Benjamin was the youngest brother. He was the direct brother of Joseph from the mother and the father. All the other brothers were half brothers. Obviously, they had the same father, but they had different mothers. And we could see that, we saw that before, but just to mention that there was 10 brothers that went to Egypt, minus Joseph, because he was there already, and minus Benjamin. So Joseph's 10 brothers went down to buy grain in Egypt. And this is in verse 4. But Jacob did not send Joseph's brother Benjamin with his brothers, for he said, lest calamity befall him. And the sons of Israel went to buy grain among those who were journeyed, for famine was in the land of Canaan. So it seems like they didn't go by themselves. There was a lot of people that were flocking to Egypt because Egypt had food, because Joseph had made sure that was true. Now Joseph was the governor over the land, and it was he who sold all to all the people of the land. It was who sold all the people to land, and Joseph's brothers came and bowed down before him, and their faces to the earth. And if you see this verse here, it's a big verse because it is many, many years after that the dream that Joseph had actually came to pass. But even though it came to pass, I don't think that Joseph was really happy that it was like that. I mean, it was like it's coming to pass, and I'm sure he got like a flashback of the dreams he had, but it was like heartbreaking almost. And we're gonna see that. We're actually gonna see this chapter. It's actually several chapters. It's chapter 43, 44, and 45. It's 4 chapters that Joseph is going back and forth with his brothers. Today we're only going to read 42, but it's several chapters that Joseph goes back and forth with his brothers, and he's fighting something. We'll continue reading. And Joseph saw his brothers and recognized them, but he acted as a stranger to them and spoke roughly to them. Then he said to them, "Where do you come from?" And they said, "From the land of Canaan to buy food." So Joseph recognized his brothers, but they did not recognize him. He was dressed as an Egyptian. He talked like an Egyptian. So they just thought he was the commander there, the governor. So they wouldn't think that Joseph, for them, they knew Joseph wasn't dead. They didn't kill him, but they knew that he was probably somewhere being a slave. And it says, number 9, then Joseph remembered the dreams which he had dreamed about them. And he said to them, "You are spies. You have come to see the nakedness of the land." So there he recognizes, he gets that flashback. He says, "This is the dream that I had." But he starts to speak even more roughly to him. "You guys are spies." Number 11, it says, "We are all one man's son. We are honest men. Your servants are not spies." But he said to them, "No, but you have come to see the nakedness of the land." And they said, "Your servants are 12 brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And in fact, the youngest, which is with our father today, and there is one who is no more." So they gave up Joseph for dead. They weren't sure, but they almost believed their own lie. Remember how they told to their father, they said that an animal had killed them, and they didn't know where it was, what happened to Joseph. But they did know, they sold him, but they kind of gave him up for lost. And number 14 says, "But Joseph said to them, It is I spoke to you, saying, you are spies." So he's saying, my word is higher than yours. You're spies. "In this manner, you shall be tested. By the life of Pharaoh, you should not leave this place unless your youngest brother comes here. Send one of you and let him bring your brother, and you shall be kept in prison, that your words may be tested to see whether there is any truth in you. Or else, by the life of Pharaoh, surely you are spies." So he put them all together in prison 3 days. He put all of them in prison for 3 days. Then Joseph said to them the 3rd day, "Do this and live, for I fear God. If you are honest men, let one of your brothers be confined to your prison, but you go and carry grain and for the famine to your houses." So here's what Joseph did. He puts them in jail, all of them in jail. But after 3 days, he says, "Okay, I'm going to let them free, but I'm going to keep one of you, stay here, and the rest of you 9, go back to your house, to your homes, take some food for your family." And he's doing this, and here's why I want to pause, is because he's doing this because there's something happening within Joseph. And needless to say that for a good reason, his brothers, they decided to sell him into slavery. His brothers did something, they wanted to kill him. Actually, slavery was the better option. They wanted to kill him. And it was stopped. They sold him to slavery. So Joseph is battling something here. It's not clear in the Bible. We could try to see inference a little bit more. Was he battling his own emotions? Was he battling a way to tell his brothers, "It's me"? I'm sure that everything that happened to him in the past came rushing back to him. And here's the word that I have for you today, for you watching, you're hearing, is that there are things in the past, in our past, that we have to face and that we must overcome. It will not be easy. It will be things that maybe put you in a bad place, but you definitely have to face them. I'm not saying you have to face them today, but you eventually, in order to become whole, to become restored, you must face them. And this is what was happening to Joseph. And here's another part that I do want to say about Joseph. We always say that Joseph, there was nothing said wrong about Joseph, but I do believe that Joseph had two things that were tough in his life, or that he had. The first one was when he was younger. It didn't say it, but it seems like he was very upstuck, very like nose kind of, I don't know how they say it, but nose up, stuck up, little brat kid when he was younger. His father favored him, and it seems like he took every moment to like relish in that. He treated his brothers a little bit bad. He told them these dreams, even though the dreams were real. He shouldn't have shared those dreams, and maybe even the way he said it. That's a little bit reading into the context of the word, but it seems like that he had that. And then the whole process of him going through all these years was God helping him get rid of that. And we come to a crucial moment where Joseph has to decide, what should I do? Of course, you probably have read already ahead of this and know the ending of the story. But as I'm reading chapter 42 right now, I don't even think that Joseph knew what he was going to do. I feel like he was like deciding things as he was going. He was kind of making it up as he went. Deciding, should I forgive them? Should I not? Should I wait a little bit? How should I do it? If he forgave him, maybe he did forgive him, but I don't know that because the Bible didn't say that, but maybe he did forgive them. But how should he do that? And he's kind of making it up as he goes. And even though once again, Joseph was a man of God, he did the right things most of the time. He was still a man. He was still a person. He's a hero, a Bible hero in the Bible, for sure. But he had his faults. And I feel that this is a crucial moment that he was fighting that. We continue on a little here onto the Bible. And it says, if you're honest men, let one of your brothers be confined to your prison. Stay here and everybody else can leave. Verse 20. And bring your youngest brother to me, so your words can be verified, and you shall not die. And they did so. He lets 9 of them go, and he says, bring back the youngest brother, Benjamin, which is his full brother. And they did. They said, okay, we're going to leave somebody behind. And they said to one another, we truly are guilty concerning our brother, for we saw anguish in his soul when he pleaded with us, but we would not hear. Therefore, this distress has come upon us. They were talking about the moment that they had sold Joseph, and Joseph was probably pleading with them, brothers, please don't do this. It's a very sad moment that a brother could do that to another brother in hate. It says they're recognizing that Joseph pleaded with them and was trying to do everything he could to not get sold into slavery. And Reuben, which was the oldest brother, answered them, saying, did I not speak to you, saying, do not sin against the boy? And you would not listen? Therefore, behold, his blood is now required of us. Once again, remember, they wanted to kill him. And they sold him into slavery because Reuben intervened and Judah intervened. Reuben was trying to get him out of that situation. Reuben put him in the hole to try to see, okay, how can I save him? And then Judah was the one that said, let's just sell him into slavery. And in verse 23 says, but they did not know that Joseph was understanding them, for he spoke to them through an interpreter. So he was not speaking their same language. And he turned himself away from them, and he wept. And he returned to them again and talked with them. And he took Simeon from them and bound them before their eyes. Then Joseph gave command to fill their sacks with grain, to restore every man's money to his sack, and to give them provisions for the journey. Thus he did for them. This is what he did to them. So he fills up their sacks. He gives them food. He takes Simeon. He puts Simeon in jail. He cries also before this. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And again, I don't blame him. I do not blame him. It's easy to say, oh, I would do this in this situation. Sometimes we see, for example, other people in the Bible, Adam and Eve, we're like, oh, why did you sin, Adam and Eve? Why did you disobey God? But honestly, if you put yourself in that same situation, would you do the same or worse? Have we done the same or worse? And Joseph is dealing with this in his heart. I'm not sure exactly what was going through his mind, but it says that he was weeping. He decides to let his brothers go, but he also restores the money. So they were supposed to buy the food, and they did buy the food, but he gives them back the money, puts the money back into the sacks without them knowing. And we continue here on the 20th. It says, so they loaded their donkeys with grain and departed from there. But as one of them opened the sack to give his donkey feed at the encampment, they were already traveling, and they were going to give the donkey some food. He saw his money, and there it was in the mouth of the sack. So he said to his brothers, my money has been restored, and there it is in my sack. Then their hearts failed them, and they were afraid, saying to one another, what is this that God has done to us? They were supposed to go buy the food, and now they were wealthy, by the way. Abraham was wealthy, Isaac was wealthy, Jacob was wealthy. They were very wealthy people. What they needed was food, and they were just famine. There was nothing to buy. So it wasn't about money. They wanted to pay, and now they're going to say, the governor, I don't know what they called him, Joseph, but they didn't know that. The governor, he's going to think that we stole this, I guess. So what's happening? And Simeon, what's going to happen to Simeon? Simeon is in jail. They're not going to believe us. And their hearts failed them, it says. And they went to Jacob, their father. They just kept going on the journey in the land of Canaan. And they told him all that had happened to them, saying, the man who is the Lord of the land spoke roughly to us and took us for spies of the country. But we said to him, we are honest men. We're not spies. We are 12 brothers, son of our father. One is no more, and the youngest is with our father this day in the land of Canaan. Then the man, the Lord of the country, said to us, by this I will know that you are honest men. Leave us one of your brothers with me, and take the food for the famine to the household, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother back to me, so I shall know that you're not spies, but that you're honest men. I will grant your brother to you, and you may trade in the land. So they're telling the story to Jacob. Jacob is now an older man. And they're saying that Simeon is back there. They need to bring back Benjamin in order to get more food and to get Simeon back. So it's not just, it's both. It's the food and Simeon. And now Benjamin, they know that the father loves Benjamin the most after Joseph. And he's like the youngest of the house. So they're like, what should we do? And Jacob, their father, said to them, you have bereaved me. Joseph is no more. Simeon is no more, because now he's back there. He's already giving him up for lost. And now you want to take Benjamin? All of these things are against me. And then Reuben spoke to his father, saying, kill my 2 sons if I do not bring him back to you. Put him in my hands, and I will bring him back to you. He's saying, give me a chance. The oldest saying, give me a chance. You can take my sons, do as you wish, but I will bring Simeon back. But he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If calamity should befall him along the way in which you go, then you would bring down my gray hair. With sorrow I will go down to the grave. And for today, we'll pause this reading because it's like a lot of chapters that are coming up now of Joseph still going back and forth with his brothers. But I wanted to set this in mind, this picture in your mind of those moments where you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm not really sure how to act. There is always the best answer. There is always the right answer. But as you can see, even Joseph had trouble with this. And we should seek for help. Seek for help in things that have happened in your past. There's always going to be the ultimate help, which is God. God is going to help you and make sure that you're okay. If we go to him, he will make sure that you're okay. But I think in all this, we learn that we also need each other. Joseph, he had no one, literally no one in his life anymore that could help him. He was alone for so many years, and he was dealing with this, and he had to face this. He had to overcome it. In the next chapters, we'll see that he will overcome it, but it actually takes a couple of chapters for him to overcome it. And because they have to travel back and forth, I'm sure that it was weeks, maybe even months, that these stories took place of that interaction with his brothers. Joseph is sitting next to Pharaoh, second in command, knowing that Simeon, his brother, is in jail. I'm sure he was treated very well, and he was giving food, but he was sitting in a jail cell, and Joseph knowingly put him there. Joseph also knowingly sent his brothers off back to their land. The journey, I'm sure, was far. They had to go, eat the food, speak with their parents, and then come back. It was going to be a while until Joseph actually cleaned house and ironed all out the details. And like I said before, I feel that even Joseph did not know the end of his story, how his story was going to play out. He was already living the dream. Imagine being second in command in the whole land. But still he had things to take care of, heart issues to take care of. He was living the dream, but at the same time, he wasn't peacefully living that dream. And that's what I want to leave you today, is that we seek peace. We live the dream that is set forth. We all have dreams. Either dreams that when you go to sleep you have, or when you're awake you say, oh, I wish I could do this. It's a dream of mine that I have. And all those are fine. They're great. But if we don't not have peace, if we have not resolved the things that we need to resolve in our past, we will not fully live the dream. Thanks once again for being with us. It's been great. And the next time we're going to go more deeper into the 3 more chapters that Joseph goes back and forth with his brothers. And we'll ultimately see how that story ends up. Thanks for being here. Join us next time as we continue Joseph's journey of living the dream.